Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and we are here to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we skipped last week because they skipped last week. Well, I mean, technically they did give us an episode, but was just an episode of Mel and Martel fighting, and I was not about to review that foolishness. They could keep that. I almost called 1-800-OWN and asked them to find Carlos King and asked why he would sell y'all that to sell me that because I want my money back. Okay, but they're back, so here we are. We back too. Hey, and while we up here at the beginning, before we get started, could you please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When I hit record, I was right up under 200. I'm going to go ahead and receive it in my spirit that we about to hit 200 subscribers. If you would like to be in the number, please go ahead and hit subscribe. My thing is, are you just going to keep coming to my house, sitting in my room, drinking up all my tea, and just won't subscribe to my channel? If you gonna keep coming to my house and you gonna keep drinking up my tea, you could have just hit subscribe, please. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. So this episode kicks off with where we left off on the last real episode, which is in the middle of the same stuff they served us last week, Mel and Martel fighting. Yeah, they are carrying on, going back and forth about Martel showing up at this restaurant like a psycho. Martel is justifying his behavior with Mel's social media behavior by saying basically, you do this stuff on social media, but I do it in person. I cannot. He is out of his natural mind. I can't even deal. She's carrying on about his lack of boundaries. They start screaming at each other about their dating choices and insulting each other about their dating choices. They screaming about not wanting each other. Mel finally says, you know what, I pray you grow up, and gets in the car. And Martel said that's it. He's just put off by the fact that the fight is over that quick. He didn't want a lunchtime quickie. He wanted a full-on fight. I cannot. So Martel goes walking back up to the house. I know Fred wanted to say, get your ass off my land. Moving on. So the next stop is Kimmy's house, where her girlfriend Patricia stops by. And at first this looks like, just a little girlfriend visit, but no, this is a who in the hell Kaya would think she playing with meeting. Patricia is apparently the girlfriend that introduced Kimmy and Maurice, but she's also friends with Maurice's ex-wife Kiowa, and is the person that Maurice stayed with when he separated from his wife Kiowa. I don't know. It's some real tangled country cobwebs going on. I don't know. But anyway, she comes over, they sit down to talk, and they're having drinks on the patio and just kind of talking about mom life. She has 2 kids that are in school. She's talking about what it's like for Kimmy to reacclimate to being a mom again, and Kimmy's like, it's just like riding a bike. And she's talking about what it's like to be married to Maurice, and that Maurice is basically a Neanderthal, in her words, because he thinks he's just supposed to go to work, make the money, be the boss, and she's supposed to be the little lady at home, just cooking and cleaning and being his assistant. Girl, if that's what y'all call marriage, live your best life. Cinderella will wait. So they use this conversation about, Monster and Maurice to segue into, about Kiowa. Yeah, let's talk about her. Yeah, Kiowa had put it out there that Kimmy was the side piece. That Kimmy, interfered with basically the reconciliation of she and Maurice. And she is not letting up on, I'm going to prove I was not the side chick. Now, I'm not going to tell you no word of lie. I understand. If it were me and I know I was no side chick, since we dragging names, let's drag. So I get it. I get where Kimmy is coming from. So they get to talking about basically that Kimmy was never the side piece. Patricia, I guess, was the person they chose to bring in because She is the middleman. So she can bring it all together. She can attest to the fact that this is the timeline in which things happen. So what she says is basically they split up. Maurice had come to stay with her. Both parties had signed papers. She then at that point, I guess, introduced Maurice and Kimmy, but Maurice wanted to sow his royal oats a little bit, so he wasn't ready. He ran the streets. After he ran the streets, then he came back and was like, okay, what's up with you? And that's how he and Kimmy got together. But basically, this was a meeting to prove that Kimmy had never been the side piece, that she didn't even know Maurice like that when he was married, and to prove the timeline in which they were introduced. Okay, we get it. So then Kimmy brings up the whole situation with she and Tisha. And in so many words, like I said in the last review, Kimmy admitted that she was being petty. She does not have a real answer or real explanation for why being included in the group chat was an issue, other than she ain't kissed my behind like she normally does. Because why wouldn't you call me like you normally have for the last 10 years when you want to check? And you can tell her girlfriend is sitting there kind of, but she don't agree with her. Her girlfriend is like, well, why wouldn't you just reply to the text? Because what does it take to just send a text back? And Kimmy has to admit, I just was being petty. So, what did I say in the last review? I had said Kimmy was being petty. Kimmy said Kimmy was being petty. And what it is Kimmy does not like being held accountable. Her card has been pulled. She has been exposed. Now she's mad. She does not want to be held accountable. And rather than be held accountable, I'm going to turn it around on you. That's all that's going on. But like I said last week, if that's your attitude, like don't donate nothing to nothing I'm doing. If you feel like for you to contribute or for you to support me, I have to adequately kiss your behind, you can keep it, baby. We all right. Thank you. Moving on. So the next stop is Tisha and Marsau's house. Tisha pulls up to the house and hop about her Benz Jeep, and her outfit looked like she just came from shooting a loop video. I said, Tisha, you better go ahead, girl. Tisha said, I am 40. I am fine. I am going to flaunt it. Hey, it is what it is. I ain't mad at you. Girl, I'm trying to get my stuff together. I ain't got doctor money, but I'm going to try to do a few squats and things, And she walks in the house to what? Money counselors. Hey! So Tisha walks in the house and she's like, okay, who these people? I think she thought it was a different kind of surprise. No, Tisha, this ain't the weekend you was looking for. No, baby. She figures out that, oh, these are money counselors. All right. I surprised him with counseling. He's surprising me with counseling. Oh, okay. So we have this whole meeting to basically come to the conclusion that they have a communication issue. She buys clothes and wigs and stuff for the kids with no consideration to cost or his feelings. He buys cars and makes business decisions and things like that with no consideration to cost or her feelings. So, in the words of the money counselor, they're basically operating at different degrees of financial empowerment. And I find it very ironic that Marsau, who is so opposed to counseling at every turn, would surprise his wife with money counseling. Like, Marsau, go sit down. If you can't hear Dr. Francis, I can't hear these people. I'm going to buy me some shoes. Okay, bye. I will say that I like that Tisha was very, very receptive to meeting with the money counselor. She was receptive to what they had to say. And she was open to, discussing, this is my approach to money, this is his approach to money. And they really kind of got to the point that they're coming from two different perspectives. That Marsau is coming from the perspective of, I grew up in poverty and I don't want to go back to that. That I am breaking this generational curse of poverty for my kids, and it's just not an option to go back. And Tisha, and Tisha looking around like, shit, I don't know nothing about that. Tisha says, basically, I come from a background of having, my best memories of me and my mama, us out shopping. I grew up in the everlap of luxury. I don't know what you're talking about. So she's like, yes, I would say that I go out and shop and buy things, but me buying a wig for $1,200, I'm be combing my hair for a while, or shoes or purses or stuff for the kids does not compare to him going out and buying the super expensive Mercedes that he wanted as a dream car for his 40th birthday, or buying a replacement truck instead of just replacing the transmission that broke down in the last truck. Like, they just don't compare. And Tisha made a good point. Tisha's point was, I feel like he makes bigger financial decisions and does not include me in those financial decisions because he's the one making the money. And he's like, well, you can't say that because I have my money going directly into your account and you have full access to it. And she says, yes, I'm not saying that you don't take care of me, but this is where the empowerment comes in, is that basically you get to make the big decisions. You get to decide, I'm going to buy a car today. I get to decide, I'm going to buy some shoes today. And it's just different. And she's like, because I grew up having things, because I grew up with the knowledge that I like nice things, I want a man who can make money to support the lifestyle that I want. That's why I went to college. I had a plan to be a career woman so I could make money to support the lifestyle that I want. So don't now tell me that the lifestyle that I like, the things that I like, the things that I want to do is a problem when you get to ride around in luxury vehicles. If I want to buy me a couple wigs and a couple purses and a couple outfits, hey, I'm so sorry. I don't get me wrong. I understand being on one accord financially. I understand being on one accord, period, because you're in a marriage and that is essential, to your union, for your union to thrive and grow and flourish. I get that. However, don't expect me to come into a union with you and deprive myself of what I'm accustomed to, what I like, what I'm attracted to, because you want to foot the bill for what you want to do, but not what I want to do. It don't work like that. And then if you gonna cry about having to foot the bill for what I want to do, then you gonna leave me alone and let me work. Let me get my check because I like my shoes. Okay, thank you. That concludes this speech. Now, I'm going to tell you what was weird to me. Like, what in the show and tell hell was this tour of all the stuff they've bought? I don't understand. Why do we have to walk through the bedroom and see that she has a bunch of makeup and her jewelry and her clothes and his luxury car? And why? They spend a bunch of money. We get it. Like, what in the we ain't evading taxes hell is going on? Why do we need to see that? That's the one question I do have. But moving on. So our next stop is Destiny's Beauty and Business Luncheon. Okay, she is hosting her second annual Beauty and Business Luncheon, which is like a networking event for business professionals to come together and share their professional experience and services. Just a mixer, some sort of a networking event. But this is also going to be a celebration of Destiny and her hype hair cover. Now let me say this. Destiny looked absolutely amazing. Like, sis was serving. But it is something about the whole look Destiny had on and that walk that said stripper retirement party. I don't know if it's just me, but that's just what it was giving. I mean, she looked great. I'm not taking that from her. But that walk said Pink Valley retirement party, okay? So at this luncheon, they're all sitting together at a table, talking, and Destiny thanks Tisha for sponsoring her luncheon. She's like, thank you for bringing me champagne and sponsoring. And Mel is triggered. Mel goes, well, yeah, I would have sponsored too, but you didn't send me what you sent Stormy. Destiny looked like, what in the hell? So Destiny goes, you know what? I dropped the ball. Basically, we ain't about to fight at my damn event, okay? So I'm going to just own this and say, I dropped the ball. This was my fault. Okay, whatever. And so she gets her little jab in. She said, I dropped the ball, but I probably didn't think to reach out to you because, you didn't come to the last one. So I didn't figure you want to sponsor this one. But okay. And Mel's response is, it doesn't matter. When you're friends, even when a friend drops the ball, somebody need to be there to pick it up. And then she hands her a check to say, I'm going to sponsor this one regardless, even though you didn't ask me. Now, here's the thing. I think Mel thought she was being cute. She was being fly. I think she thought it was slick and smooth, when she was saying it don't matter. No. That's not how you handle that. When your friend says you weren't there for me, you let me down, and because you set that precedent, I didn't think to reach out to you the next time that I needed somebody, you don't respond with, that don't matter. Basically, you need to kiss my behind. Like, you and Kimmy must be going to the same counselor. I don't understand. Because where this whole, it don't matter how you feel, you just need to cater to how I feel and how I expect you to handle me, is beyond me. Mel's whole thing is, it don't matter. And Destiny is kind of put in the position of, somebody is giving you a check, so what is you gonna say? But thank you. But at the same time, like, girl, don't play with me. Please take accountability for not being the kind of friend that you claim to be while you hand me this check. But thank you, I'm is gonna cash this. Tisha then takes this opportunity to address those in donation deficit. She said, yeah, while we're talking about, sponsorship, I never got a check from you or you. So, while y'all handing out checks. So Destiny, she's like, yeah, you right. You ain't never got no check from me. Mel is like, hold on, you didn't get my check? What you mean? And Tisha's like, no, honey, I never got your check. And here goes Kimmy, but you got my check, right? And Tisha was like, yeah, I was getting to that. Give me a second. Yes, we got a check from Kimmy and Maurice. She said, yeah, since you threw me under the bus, and yeah. So Mel goes, well, hold on. Did you get the check before or after the issue? Kimmy said, don't matter. Here we go with the don't matter ministry. I don't know where y'all are getting this from, but some of the stuff matters, okay? It matters. So Tisha goes, after. And Kimmy goes, well, it don't really matter whether it was before or after. She said, well, no, I'm saying you responded to the text. You just didn't send a check. And she said, okay, well, would you rather a response with no check or a check with no response? Which would you prefer? So now we all kind of looking like, hold on, is we going to fight at this party too? Because, that's what y'all do. Y'all tear up parties. That's just what y'all do. Tisha is like, basically, I'm not even going to engage. Thank you for your check. Tiffany, would you like to go talk off to the side? And then they, usher off into that disaster of a conversation. So Tiffany and Tisha go off to the side, and Tisha starts this conversation that I don't really know where it came from. It's basically this conversation of, let's talk about Tiffany and her transparency. Since you insist on everybody else being transparent, let's test your own transparency. Now, while I get it, I get the motivation for the conversation because she done been in everybody's business and tap dancing on everybody's nerves, but it just seems very out of place and out of time. Like, what in the hell prompted this? Tisha is talking to Tiffany and she goes, I don't know anything negative about Tiffany. I don't know, my thing is that the things you go through help to shape you to be the person that you are. I know that Tiffany was married. I know that Tiffany has been divorced. I don't know what happened in that divorce. I don't know what has made you who you are. So telling me about, how you got through a tough time in your life. I said, what in the job interview hell is going on here? Tell us about a time. Tisha, what are you talking about? Why would you pull this girl to the side at a party to say, hey, yeah, tell me about every negative thing that ever happened in your life? I'd like to get to know you. What the hell? Tiffany's response is, well, I am divorced. Louis is divorced. But we started out our relationship having basically this transparent conversation about, tell me why you cheated, so that we could start off on the right foot. So Tisha's like, well, tell me why you cheated. Oh, Lord, Tisha. So her response is basically, well, I was in high school when that girl said she was in high school. I disengaged. You cannot be serious. In that moment, I knew exactly what Tiffany's issue is. You are immature. You are making decisions and taking guidance in your third decade adult life from what you did in high school. Girl, if you don't get your ass out my face, what are you talking about? That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. You are still literally operating from your high school brain. That's why she gets on my nerves. You operate like a child. It all makes sense. Okay, thanks, bye. So Tiffany does eventually say basically that, what caused her to cheat or to want something different was that she wanted basically financial stability and security, and that what was being offered in the relationship that she was in at the time just was not what she wanted. It was not enough for her. There's nothing wrong with that. It's neither here nor there. She is uncomfortable talking about it because he has since passed on. So after this pointless conversation, they go sit back down, and Destiny is basically announcing that she's handing out a few trips. I don't know what in the timeshare tour hell she doing up here, but for some reason she wants to give Kimmy a 7-night trip as a honeymoon. Now, some people gonna say, oh, she was just being nice. Oh, she got a crush on Kimmy. That was shady. It was so shady, it's not even funny. It was, you know what? You need a honeymoon. You ain't been on a honeymoon. Your husband won't take you on a honeymoon. Here, boo. I'll give you one. Here's a consolation prize. Enjoy. It just was like, I don't know about that, but thank you. So she gives her trip, and then she unveils her cover. It was a beautiful cover. Now, I do feel like that cover should have been a headshot, but what do I know? Moving on. So we get to the final stop of the episode, which is Maurice at some hotel room that he has gotten dressed up and decorated for Kimmy. She arrives at the hotel room for their date night, and he sits down to talk to her about what he has learned about himself through counseling with Dr. Francis. Let me say this. I don't know if it's just me. Kimmy and Maurice give me uncomfortable. They don't give me a couple that is settled into each other, that is comfortable with each other, that has a good time with each other, that knows and feels each other. They give me two people that are together that are keeping up an image. Something about how they interact with each other gives me they are afraid to break the ice. So Maurice basically tells Kimmy that, listen, I talked to Dr. Francis, and Dr. Francis told me that between you and my career, I have 2 wives. And I realize that I have been neglecting you for the sake of my career, and he surprises her with a honeymoon. Now, call me suspicious. I am. I am low-key a suspicious conspiracy theorist, okay? However, I find it very interesting that Destiny, who seems to have a crush and desires to have a threesome with Kimmy and Maurice, happened to surprise Kimmy with the trip at the same time that Maurice was planning to surprise Kimmy with the trip. I'm just wondering what in the backwoods hell might be going on over there. Okay, but we gonna skate on past that. So when Maurice talks about Dr. Francis pointing out that he has two wives between his career and his wife, and that he has been creating competition between them, Kimmy uses this opportunity to say that, listen, I got married for companionship. I like us kicking it. I want to, hang out. I want to watch TV together. I want to spend time. I want to go on a trip here and there. Like, I got married to have a companion, not to be an assistant. And so Maurice takes this opportunity to say, I hear you. He surprises her with the trip. He tells her, basically, I hear you. She gets very teary-eyed. And I get it. I get that. More than anything, it's not so much the trip, it's about the fact that he finally hears what she needs from him emotionally. And that is a big deal. Especially in a marriage where you walking on eggshells and tiptoeing around each other and scared to piss each other off and tell each other, I'm not really getting what I need. So Kimmy gets up and she's hugging and kissing Maurice and telling him how, happy and grateful she is. And they disappear behind the door to go celebrate they're going on a honeymoon. And that is the end of the episode. We see that next week, Mel is going to be having her release party for her video, where Martell is going to be coming to act a plum fool. And we'll be right here, same time, same place. Okay. So thank God this episode wasn't that stressful. We had very minimal Mel and Martel, which we are grateful for. So we see that we can have not a whole episode of Mel and Martel fighting and still have a whole episode. Yes, we can. Thank you so much. Hey, before you click out of this video, if you didn't do it at the beginning, now that we are here at the end, could you please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Y'all know how we do in the comments. Please subscribe. It is the kind thing to do if you're going to keep coming to somebody's house. All right? Okay? That's all I'm asking. You ain't even got to bring nothing when you come. Just come get your tea, click subscribe, and we even. All right? All right. Just, okay. As always, thank you so much for coming down here, listening to me, letting me get it off my chest. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Love you, mean it. Bye.